Because of personal experience with that, I feel like that's a major reason for why a lot of people are depressed.
Yeah, I would think so. Because if you're not fulfilled at what you're doing,
Hmm.
other things happen. And one of them, I guess, is depression.
Yeah, exactly.
So now,
And I've, yeah, oh, sorry.
so
Yeah.
now, what's the fallout from this depression? I mean, we have obviously we have lower productivity, but I mean, on a personal level, do
Hmm.
people, want to do other things? Do they imbibe in the drugs and things like that to get out of depression? How does that work?
Yeah, it just basically feeds the cycle because when you have depression, then people are going to seek ways to eliminate that by getting drugs. And then the drug companies, like, they don't make drugs to solve people's problems. They make it because I mean, they make it in a way where people are still going to need those medications and drugs because that's how the pharmaceutical companies make money. They're not going to make drugs that just get rid of the problem and then the people
In other
don't need
words,
it anymore.
they don't make drugs to heal. They make drugs to hook you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's a really big problem. And I see all of like the things that are wrong with society, and I can't help but feel like helpless at solving. It's just so big, and like the world has a system of go working and running, and I have a different vision for like the perfect world, but obviously I'm just one person. I can't really change the world, and so
No, you can't
yeah.
change the world, but the world change starts with you. It's what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you have a vision. You know
Hmm.
what you want to do. You go ahead and do the best you can.
Exactly. And just make a difference in my own little way.
Yeah, right. And you create your own little world.
Hmm.
In the world of Lubna, this is how we do it.
Right. Exactly. And
So
that's what I'm trying to do every day. And like, even if some days it feels like I'm not really making a difference and nobody really listens to what I'm saying, I just feel like I'm talking to a wall. I realize that one day if I become more like successful, I guess, and have more of a audience, then people will go back and see all of the things I've said and written and be like, oh,
exactly. Then you'll be a superstar.
yeah. Maybe, yeah.
That's how it works. Just stay on your path. It's working out for you.
Hmm.
So, community health. That's a very broad topic. But
Hmm.
then again, we talked about the depression, the drugs, and anything else in community health we should talk about.
um I think that's really the basic idea of community health. Uh, there's a really systematic way of doing it, though, in public health. And like from what I learned in my program, we have to follow a specific, like a process for designing and then implementing and evaluating a public health program, and then revising it, and then implementing it again. It's a really large scale kind of a process. And some examples of public health programs that work like that, I think, for example, Planned Parenthood, they have like a lot of programs for, um, for uh, reproductive health for women. And it's like that's an example. These systems have been created by people who are public health practitioners and have done a lot of research to come up with the most effective programs for the community.
Right, but here's what I mean by my question.
Hmm.
We have gang warfare. Is that a community health issue?
Yes,
We have
community health issues. Yeah.
we have
Oh,
we
sorry. Yeah.
have racial tensions. Is that community health? You know, so
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
these are some serious community health issues we have that, and then we have the latest one here is the thing about the COVID vaccine. People are not, they don't believe that it's going to work out. I mean, See,
Yeah.
again, we have those are three major things that are impacting us that you need somebody in community health needs to address.
Yeah, for sure. And the problem is you can never make people believe a certain way. There's always going to be disagreements based on people's, political ideas and preferences. And sometimes it's just important to accept that when you do your best to um, uh, make people see your viewpoint, and I'm not saying like any person's viewpoint is right or wrong. You just have to show people what you believe in and what you think is the right thing to do. Then you've done your best, and there's nothing more you can do as long as you've done your best. um,
There was a guy. It's a guy named Edward Bernays.
mhm,
He's considered to be the father of American public relations.
mhm,
His father was Sigmund Freud. I mean, his uncle was Sigmund Freud.
mhm,
And this guy Bernays, during the Depression in the 20s, a pig farmer manufacturer came to him and said, "Look, I need you to hook up a ad so I can get my competition out of the way."
mhm,
And the guy says, "No, we don't want to run him out of the business. I'm going to create a survey from doctors, and the doctors will say, I'm going to pay them to say that eating bacon, milk, and coffee and all that stuff is good for you." That's become the standard American diet.
mhm,
So what I'm saying is somebody paid for that. It wasn't organic. So what
mhm,
I'm saying is that maybe public health can be affected the way you said it can't be, because that's what they do now.
mhm. Yeah, and it's really hard to know who to trust sometimes, because like even the people who are in power, who make the rules, who even like my professors in public health, you don't know if like where they're getting information it from is accurate. And throughout my education in public health, there are a lot of things I disagreed with on many topics I disagreed with my professors and classmates, but it's
like
just like
like what? Like what? Give me an example.
Um, like I had a talk on nutrition with one of like my classmates. We were doing a project, and they were like in the PowerPoint, when we were designing the PowerPoint, they were thinking of like writing like the guideline. We had to come up with guidelines for a healthy diet, and she wrote like reduce carbs, no carbs, and like no rice and potatoes and things like that. But as a like personally, I follow a very high carb diet and high carb, low fat diet, and I feel healthy. I feel like it's a good diet for me. And it's just like little things like that that people think like automatically, oh, all carbs are bad. And
Right, right,
yeah,
right. All carbs aren't bad. That's true.
right.
So
And
so
there, yeah.
even in your program, like your colleague wasn't a very critical thinker. It seems like.
Yeah, and there's like different doctors with different viewpoints. There's a doctor I'm really interested in what he has to say, and he really promotes a high starch, low fat diet, and his name is Dr. McDougall. I've read